In this question, the topic for this section, this question is on area under graph. But part one, you actually need to find the coordinates first. So in part one, the part that you are being tested is actually trigo equation. Okay, so let me run through a little bit on the getting the coordinates first. Because in this question, they just want the x coordinate of A and B. So basically, you should be able to see that A and B are the intersection between the curve and the straight line. So if you apply simultaneous equation, equation 1 equal to equation 2, you will be getting cosine 2x equal to negative root 3 over 2. So this one will be your basic idea of how do you solve for x, how do you solve for an angle in trigo. Okay, so you apply your basic angle. When you apply your basic angle, and of course you ignore the negative sign. Okay. In this question, when you try doing this, you will get you won't get a nice answer. So you will get a chain of decimal. Okay, you can work with the chain of decimal, or you can punch this already. You try to divide by pi. When you try to divide by pi, it will give you something like 0.16666 something, which essentially is a 1 over 6. So the basic angle is actually 1 over 6 pi. So you can either use the long decimal or you can do it as a 1 over 6 pi. Okay, then you need to check out the quadrant for 2x. So 2x, which quadrant will it be cosine negative? So 2x should be in the second and the third quadrant. So second and third quadrant will be pi minus alpha, pi plus alpha. Okay, so your 2x will be pi minus pi over 6, pi plus pi over 6. So from here, you will get your 2x value. Now, the question actually the x coordinate here is not mentioned that you must leave it in exact form. So if you want to, you can make it into 3SF. So it's actually fine if you leave it in 3SF. But because subsequently you will be using the coordinate to find the shaded area, it will be easier and actually more accurate if you use this for your area under graph. Okay, so the first part is finding the coordinate, and because it's linked to the second part, I will try to use the exact number rather than the 3SF. But if you are presenting the answer for this part, you can present both. Okay, so that is the coordinate part. Okay, so this coordinate part will be somewhere here. Then for the second part, we are supposed to find the shaded area. Okay, so I'm going to erase this part and I'm going to use the space here to explain the shaded area. Okay, so you realize that the shaded area is below the x-axis. So if the shaded area is below the x-axis, you expect that the area is negative. Okay, so you must dot the intersection first. And because the area is under the graph, you will expect the area to be negative. Okay, so do some planning first. So for the area that we would like to find, okay, so my plan will be, I'm going to think of it this way. This is the area under graph. So remember the concept of area under graph. It has to stick on either the x-axis or the y-axis. So actually, this is the one that is sticking on the x-axis, but it's below the x-axis. So if you calculate this area, you will expect it to be a negative area. If you calculate this area, you will expect it to be a negative area. Then later on, subsequently, I'm going to find the rectangle here. So my plan is I'm going to find the blue area under graph. Then I'm going to find the rectangle. So I'm going to show you how to find the rectangle first. For the rectangle, doesn't matter that it's under the graph because we're not going to do integration. You just simply do a length down breadth. So the rectangle will just be a length down breadth. The length is the difference here. And then the height. Okay, so by right here there is a negative, but because we are using we are just using the value. So the value here is √3/2. So if I talk about the length and breadth, okay, this is what I'll be getting. So I will do my length and breadth, but of course, I try to simplify as much as I can. So I will get 2π/12. Okay, I can cancel. Then I will get a √3π/12. So that will be my rectangle. So now I'm going to focus on getting the area under the graph. So area under the graph, we will need to integrate. So you do your normal integration. So from the bigger number to the smaller number. So integrate. The equation of the curve is not difficult to integrate. So you should be able to integrate this. And then you got to do your definite integral super carefully. Okay, so we are expecting a negative. We are expecting a negative area. So you add a negative so that eventually, later on, your whole definite integral will end up positive. So I will suggest that you be very careful. Okay, you do your definite integral. The definite integral, okay, so let me put the negative first. So do your definite integral super carefully. Punch your calculator super carefully. So it's basically like top minus bottom. Okay, and the thing is, don't try to press out everything. Okay, in case you need to have it in a nicer format. I usually don't advise you to press out everything. So maybe you try to press out this component first. So if you press out this component, you get a -half. Then you press out this component, you will get a half. Okay, so the negative is still outside. So it will be half times -half. Then now you press. Okay, you can press whatever that's inside first. So eventually you get a positive area. So eventually you will get the positive area. Okay, don't forget the area has to be exact. Exact means, right, you leave it in pi or third. That's why all the more you cannot press out everything. If you press out everything, you got the chain of decimal, you wouldn't know what is that. in the exact form. So you press out one by one. So for the area under graph, it is 0.5. For the rectangle, this is the one √3 pi over 12. So I'm not going to press up. I'm going to leave it in terms of pi. So the shaded area will be the positive area under graph, will be the half, subtracting the rectangle. So it's up to you if you would like to combine into a single fraction, that will be fine as well. You will make the same denominator. So if you want to make it into same denominator, that will work as well. If you don't, that's fine as well. Okay, so, oh yeah, one more thing. If you are pressing calculator in this situation, if you didn't press in radian mode, you will not be able to get the correct answer as well. Okay, so you need to be very careful in your pressing. Try not to press everything out, because when you press everything out, you get a lot of decimal and you wouldn't be able to do it in the exact form.